Social distancing is the first line of defense against the coronavirus, but ultimate victory will obviously depend on treatment, a vaccine, and extensive testing. We welcome now the head of the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, Jim Greenwood. He's a former congressman from Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Greenwood. And I realize we should stipulate at the beginning of this that nobody's ever been through anything like this before. So it's all new. You're making it up as you go along, doing the best you can to try to keep things moving. And I'm wondering, when you look at what all the companies are doing, how you think it's going, are we making progress? Do you see the rays of sunshine the president is talking about in your business?
Well, we are making progress, and one of the reasons, well, thanks for having me on to begin with, but one of the reasons we're making progress is because we at the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, we have a membership of about 800 companies. From the smallest to the largest of the biopharmaceutical companies. And as soon as this virus hit, I sent a note to all of the companies saying who can help, who's involved in research that could help with the coronavirus. About 50 of the companies replied that they could and want to, and on the 24th and 25th of March, we had a two-day virtual summit where we brought them all together, about 500 people, along with government people and academics, and started to plan how we can cooperate, how we can get beyond the usual competitive nature of the industry and say who has data that they can share with others, who has science that they can share to others, how can we collaborate. So we've been accelerating the R&D for the biotech industry. So to your original question, which is what's going on, there's a lot going on. I think in terms of when we're going to see results, I would start with Gilead with their remdesivir product. No, the virus is it lies somewhere on the line between life and not life, and they're really little tiny self-replicating robots, if you will. What this remdesivir drug does is it tricks the virus so that when it tries to replicate it itself, it picks up the wrong molecule from its environment, and it impedes its ability to replicate. And we should have that should really slow the progress of the disease in patients. And we're going to have results on that as early as this week, and that could make a huge difference. Up in New York, Regeneron has a drug that is used for inflammation for arthritic patients. But what we've learned is that when this virus gets in the lungs, the immune system tends to overreact and create inflammation in the lungs. And so they're hoping that they also may have results very soon on whether the antibody that they have can reduce inflammation rather. And then a little company out in San Francisco called Vir has been forming all kinds of associations, collaborations with companies like Alnylam and GSK and Biogen to develop antibodies of various kinds that can counteract the disease. A couple more items here.
Let me ask you this, though. This is all happening at such lightning speed, and that doesn't happen in the drug industry usually. Has the government waived some regulations? Are they making it easier for this to move?
Well, I can tell you that the FDA has been spectacular. All of our CEOs and companies that have dealt with the FDA have basically said they're going overboard to try to speed up the process here. And where we see when companies report to us that they have problems in that regard, we get on the job and talk to the FDA about that and try to facilitate better communications. But I do want to get to the vaccine part, because that's what we're all really waiting for, is not just to be able to treat the symptoms, but to prevent the individuals from getting the disease. Regeneron, again, they have a mouse model that actually mimics the human immune system, and so they're testing antibodies or producing antibodies in the mice. And they think that these antibodies could be injected into people as a temporary vaccine. You might have to have an injection every month or two, and that would get us through to what we really want in the long run, which is an active vaccine that could be injected into literally hundreds of millions of people to prevent the disease. That's probably between 9 and 18 months away.
Well, even when we get one, when they come out and say this works, you got to make enough for everybody. How long will that take?
Right. Well, and one of the things we're doing with our collaboration project at Bio is we're helping the small companies that might come up with the products with the large companies that might have the manufacturing capacity to scale up. And so that's going to be, you're quite right, that scaling up is going to be critical. I know that the Gates Foundation is doing a lot of work in trying to develop manufacturing facilities that could prepare to manufacture all kinds of vaccines, even before we know which vaccine is going to work best. But hopefully, and I think we will succeed in having the manufacturing capacity ready when we know that these drugs demonstrate to be safe and effective.
One last quick question. Just have a minute left here. Who's paying for all this?
Well, for the most part, it's the companies, as has always been the case. The companies get, the politicians like to say that the NIH, makes drugs. They don't. The companies invest far more into R&D than the government does. The government is certainly stepping up to the plate here as well. But the companies are saying, look, whether we make money, lose money, or break even, we've got to save lives. And we're there. And the companies are investing literally hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to come to the rescue here.
Jim Greenwood, thank you very much. He's the CEO of the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, with some hopeful news about progress on the drug front. Coming up.